Hi, my name is Doug, and today we're going to be sharpening the blades of a gas lawnmower. So, big disclaimer here before you watch this whole video. I know nothing about lawnmowers. In fact, I hate lawnmowers. I hate them with a passion. But what I do know a lot about is blades and sharpening blades. So, this will be just from the perspective of someone who knows a lot about blades, and obviously these blades need to be sharpened. Just looking at them. So, you know, maybe the advice will contradict what you've seen elsewhere. I don't know. But first step, so we've got this lawnmower here. This thing has been going, what, 2 years? And it hasn't been sharpened once. So ideally, probably you're sharpening your blades like once a season. But, you know, other life got in the way. So first, you know, read your instruction manual. Basically, most of the time, I believe there will be 2 bolts here. So I have a little socket wrench here. Yep, guys. All right, so I'm just taking these blades off to begin with. And the instruction book said to you put this little block here, which makes sense to me. Yeah. I've already cleaned this out a little bit.
I'm not trying to. That's why.
But
That's why I didn't like you.
So I already cleaned this a little bit, but yeah, I have a wire brush here, so
Yeah, that's why
I'll just get some of the old grass and mold off of there. All right, so let's look at this edge here. Again, I'm a edge expert, so. Now, I can see, based on the picture that's in my little instruction book, so if you catch on the camera there, it says, you know, basically if your blade is worn or cracked or bent in a certain way, it can be dangerous, and yeah, I totally agree. In our case, it looks like our blade is normal. It falls under the normal category. It's just that it's very dull, as you'll see. So what we're going to do is sharpen this on a bench grinder. Right here. This is an old school bench grinder. Made in, I don't know when it was made. Alright guys, get off the chair please.
Okay.
My 2 faithful helpers. So, as I said, I don't necessarily know, are we... But yeah, I don't necessarily know much about lawnmowers or lawnmower blades. I do know that this kind of blade is probably made from a simple kind of spring steel. Maybe it's stainless. I don't see anything on it. But for sure, this blade prioritizes toughness over hardness. And what that means is that it's going to get pretty, like if I tried to get this to a razor edge, it would get dull pretty fast. Probably within one mowing, it would get dull. It would kind of stabilize at a certain dullness. Think of like an axe blade that you haven't sharpened in a while. And my point is that there's no point in getting this super sharp like that you can shave with, because it's just going to get dull really fast anyway within one mowing. So what I am trying to do is just kind of get the blade back into an aerodynamic shape more than trying to get it like razor sharp, because there's no point to it. So before you use a bench grinder, yeah, I don't like anything powered, but in this case it's just a faster way to do it. So first get your old school glass machinist goggles on. I don't know where. I picked these up at a flea market or something. I think they're like 100 years old. Okay. Then we're going to turn the bench grinder on. Now the wheel is going to be going this way, and that's important. You do the direction you sharpen is important. So hey guys, can you be quiet please? When you're sharpening like a barb, like a straight razor or something, you actually want you would want the grind to be going this way. But when you're sharpening something that's going to see some abuse that requires a tough metal, you want the wheel going this way. Now, why is that? Because when you sharpen, you're not only taking material off, you're also pulling the metal. You're pulling it. So I want to pull the metal into the edge rather than pull it out. This will make the edge tougher and rougher and able to withstand more abuse. As opposed to if I was pulling the edge out this way, that would make the edge more fragile and make it more prone to chipping, which I don't want. So again, it's important. I mean, all bench grinders going this way anyway, but I thought I would just mention that in case you're using a hand file or something like that. Guys? All right, so here we go. You'll notice I'm wearing really pants I don't care about, work pants, because sparks are going to be flying, and if you're wearing something nice, it'll burn that. So, here we go. Okay, so if we compare this side, yeah, I mean, of course it's still a little like serrated, which actually might be a good thing. Then you compare it to this side. So just with that brief little touch up on the grinding wheel, you can see that we've made a vast improvement to the cutting edge. And in fact, if I touch this, it has a little burr on it. It's actually kind of maybe even more sharp than I want. Now you see these serrations here from the chips and everything. I am of the, again, I know nothing about lawnmowers and lawnmower blades, but just my knowledge about blades in general, I think this serration is a good thing, because what it does is it increases the surface area of the edge. So it gives more cutting area to the, guys. It gives more cutting area to the edge. So if the edge was entirely straight, you would have, let's say, 10 centimeters of edge. But because of those serrations, you have 12 centimeters. More surface area to cut the grass. And yeah. Let me do the other side here. So we are good on that. Let me see. I don't even know what this. I guess this is another blade. So let's sharpen up. Let's sharpen up this one real quick too. And I probably don't need to mention, but I'm wearing goggles so sparks don't get in my eye. Normally I am anti-goggle, but in this case, because you're using a power tool that's unnatural, I go the unnatural route of wearing goggles as well. Well, this one has some bigger dents in it, so yeah, I might work on this one a little more, but guys, so that's the gist of it. If you don't have a bench grinder, you can use a hand file to do this. It just takes a lot longer, but it is safer and it's more of a workout. So I do suggest doing it. I got kind of lazy today. A lot of stuff to do. Yeah, but that's about it. I'll bolt these back onto the lawnmower and hopefully they'll be slicing through the grass. So thanks for watching. Bye. Hey, I'm back. I wanted to do a follow-up video. So this is a few days after after the first part where I sharpened the blades. So yeah, it was a success. That was my first time sharpening lawnmower blades, and so the mow went very well. My wife is the person who actually mows the lawn around here. We have about an acre of grass. I tend to, when she mows the lawn, I just tend to stay inside, rocking back and forth, like with my ears closed, like a kid. Again, I don't really like the whole mowing thing. Yeah, she said it went great. So the last summer, again, we bought the lawnmower like 2 years ago. I hadn't sharpened the blades at all. So last summer it was like really binding in thick grass and really getting her pissed off. So yeah, she said that didn't happen again this year. So, and it's actually pretty late in the season. It's beginning of June now, and so the grass, we haven't mowed yet, and the grass is pretty thick, and it went right through it, she said. Yeah, so main reason I wanted to watch is make this video, just to say yes, success, but also one last detail that I neglected in the sharpening process here. When I was grinding, whenever you're sharpening anything, you're generally either going, like I said in the video, either going into the blade or pulling out of the blade. Either way, there's going to be what's called a burr, B-U-R-R, if you want to look that up. So it's a little like sliver of metal that's going to form on the edge. Yeah, and especially it'll form very readily, especially with a softer metal like a lawnmower blade is. And going at such high speed with the grinder, you're gonna get a noticeable burr. You can see it and feel it. And that burr, you don't want you want the burr as a step in the sharpening process, but you don't want that as the final thing. You don't want a burr hanging on your blade, because that's gonna flake off and make the edge damage the edge. It's gonna just make the edge duller very quickly, because it's just gonna flake right off. Now, normally, if you're actually trying to sharpen something, like to get it sharp for shaving, cutting, cutting food, whatever, you want to kind of get rid of the burr, like kind of polish the burr off. This is where you use a strop, a leather strop, or really fine sandpaper, progressively finer, whatever, until the burr is gone. Here, as I said in the first video, I don't care about the blade being that sharp. What I care about is just that it was an aerodynamic in a decent shape. Like, I could make the blade sharp. I could shave with that lawnmower blade if I wanted to make it like that. But all the grass and sand and rocks and roots and stuff that the blade is hitting, to me it doesn't make sense to make the blade like razor sharp. In fact, it could be. I could see that as a bad thing to do. Yeah, so but you want to get rid of the burr. So what I did there is something I don't usually do when I'm sharpening things to actually make them sharp. I take a piece of sandpaper and I went along the length of the blade. I should have had like a knife in my hand right here. Let me see here. Here we go. So imagine this is the lawnmower blade. So there's a burr coming off here, a little feathered piece of metal. I was just going like this to sort of smooth out the edge and get rid of that burr. Because the other thing, the edge, when you're on a grinding wheel, it's hard to get a nice smooth motion. So inevitably you're going to have little like gouges and everything like that. So yeah, again, take some rough sandpaper. This is 40 grit, 3M. Just smooth that edge down. That all said, if you're like a professional PGA Tour mowist or something, like, I don't know, maybe you do want to get your lawnmower blades razor sharp before each mowing. If so, good on you. I mean, total respect to you. This whole video is just about a lazy homeowner who just wants to sharpen their blades as infrequently as possible. Just get the job done, get it over with. So all of that, I think that's about it. So thanks for watching. I hope this video was helpful. See you next time.